It's going live to YouTube, and then I put it on another location. It's got to go there. Brand new to. We're not on Facebook. We were kicked off for being good boys.
So I gather. Yeah, so I gather. You'll still show up somewhere.
I know what it was. I'm pretty confident what it was now. I used the term the Great Awakening, and I think that's connected to QAnon, and they were like, oh, they must be QAnon people, and then they banned us.
I see.
Oh, really?
Right.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So.
It's more like
interesting
QAnon,
because
isn't it?
yeah. Because we were both on it until Phil put that post up, and then we were both off of it.
Yeah,
really
I hadn't even really promoted it. It's really weird. So
yeah, it was really
wow,
weird.
very strange. Very strange.
The algorithms kicked us off. So
we're now live on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
I'm just doing a bit of spraying.
Brand new tube is kind of funky.
Which spray we'll do are you using, Phil?
I am using Air Dragon and Air. Just to bring me in a bit. I haven't long been in the door. I've been out and about, doing some inspirational work. Trying to encourage some raw veganism.
Great.
Yeah, I think I was saying
I've just matched you with that.
Oh, brilliant. I think I was saying to Pricilla, I was going to see Duina Gibb today.
Yes,
Robin
you
Gibb's wife, and made her dinner, and then she showed me around the grounds, and she lives in a prebendal.
In a
prebendal.
What's that?
A prebendal is where they used to teach the monks to become bishops and canons.
How interesting!
In about the 1200s.
That's an interesting.
Yeah, and so that was in about the 12. So it's been there since about the 1200s. And the line that's there, the ley line that's there is actually the Michael Mary line.
All right, hang on.
Wow.
Stop now. I'm going to start recording. You ready, Phil?
Yeah, I'm ready, Phil.
I'm going to click record this time.
Fantastic, you've done it.
Well, I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of the Phil and Phil Show. We'll just do we'll chat in, we'll connect in, and then we'll introduce our guests this week. But yeah, Phil.
Okay, I take a deep breath now so we can start and I can be as present as I can with you guys. Yes, as I was just sharing with Pricilla, actually, I've just been out with a friend of mine that chefs for Duina Gibb. Duina Gibb is married to the late Robin Gibb from the Bee Gees. Back in the 70s, they had amazing hits. I had no idea actually how amazing they were. I knew they were on the top of their game, but I just didn't realize how many gold discs they had, and incredible privilege to go over there. And interesting enough, Phil, Duina's into druidry, and she writes druid stories, and she carries on them. She carries on the myths of the ancient Irish myths and the ancient English myths, and she's a member of the Druid. So yeah, really a real privilege to be let inside that world, and actually go and chef for her and inspire her and my friend that was a chef, just to encourage them a bit more. So yeah, a real privilege. And then coming back and now being as present as I can with you guys. So tonight we have, Phil, is there anything you want to say just to touch in before I introduce Pricilla?
I don't think so. No, not connected to what we're doing.
Cool. Okay. So tonight we have the wonderful Pricilla Elliott. Pricilla is a Reiki master teacher. She's a colored mirrors practitioner, teacher trainer, an EFT matrix reimprinter, teacher trainer. And I've known Pricilla now for about probably 10 years, actually. Probably known Pricilla, and I've done various trainings with her. We've gone very deep down several rabbit holes, and yeah, shared some really great stuff. Pricilla is yeah, she's full of wisdom. She's brilliant, and actually quite amazing at getting to the root and understanding what's going on, and encouraging you and guiding you on your journey to dig basically as deep as you can go. Pricilla can hold it for you and give you insight, because she's one of the things, actually, Pricilla, that I think you're brilliant at is really picking the words that people say. You know, every day we are, David Wolf calls it verbal kinesiology. And what Priscilla's amazing at doing is when something spurts out of your mouth, she says, "Ah, really?" And then she'll go on that and hone in on a various word, which, yes, there's no hiding. There is no hiding unless she's being extremely kind. There's no hiding. So without any further ado, Pricilla, welcome. I'm really grateful that you've decided to share time with Phil and I on our little show. Yeah, so we're live on YouTube and Brand New Tube, which was one of your suggestions to go onto Brand New Tube. So this show is there for everyone to see.
Lovely. Well, Phil, thank you very much for such a wonderful introduction. I just have to live up to that now.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure at all. So yeah, as you were saying, I'm a teacher in colour, in Reiki and in EFT, and I'm a practitioner for matrix reimprinting. So I do regression therapy, and as you know, and life coach, and sort of various other things, really. Anything that's useful for any individual. So I've got various tools in my toolbox, just like many practitioners these days, and I tend to just go to whatever the individual needs, whatever my client needs at the time. So that's right. And I work at soul level, so I'm working at soul level. So if any of you are sort of wondering what I mean by that, if it's possible for you to comprehend, or let's just say open up to the idea that you are a very, very powerful soul in a body having a human experience, then it flips everything on its head. And what that means is that everything that you're living through on a day-to-day basis is an experience, and it's all about vibration and energy and raising your vibration and feeling better and manifesting more amazing things, irrespective of what's happening in your life or what's going on in the outside world. So yeah, that really sums it up. I run. Carry on, Phil. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, with that work that you're talking about now, Pricilla, it creates, the thing that I've found with the work that I've been doing through that is it creates stability on an emotional and spiritual level, and that's really valuable.
Most definitely, most definitely. When you recognize that every emotion that you experience and everything that you experience on a day-to-day basis, in terms of people that talk to you, how they talk to you, you know, you could get up in the morning and be driving along and you get caught up in the traffic, and you know, your response might feel, you might be angry or whatever the emotion is. You'll recognize that that's a pattern that you've experienced many, many times in your life. And so when you realize that that's actually a program, it's an automatic response to certain situations, certain triggers. And when you realize that, you can actually trace it back, recognize it as a program, and lift it out so that you don't react like that anymore. And what that means is that you raise your vibration. So when you're on a daily basis, your vibration is so much higher and you're attracting more positive things, like synchronicity. I mean, how many times do you drive along, you're in a really, really good mood, right? And you're driving along and you get every green traffic lights and you get your car parking space. Everybody wants to know you. You get invited out to the, you know, the party, and, you know, you get all these phone calls. That's because your vibration is high. That's an example of a high vibrational day. And all of this is happening without you even realizing. And then conversely, what I sort of explained earlier, you know, you get caught up in the traffic, and before that you got up late and you're running late for work and you drop your toast on the floor and and it all goes wrong. So it's so important for you to understand where your vibration is at a particular time in order for you to be able to shift it. And you can shift it actually relatively quickly if you know how. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. I help people to come out of old programming, out of old ways of thinking and being, and helping them to attract. Well, I kind of help them to see what they're attracting subconsciously in their lives, and help them to remove the blocks to that attraction. So we are talking about law of attraction here. So some of the time you're attracting consciously, you're saying, okay, I'd really like to manifest this and that. And other times you're attracting subconsciously without even realizing, by getting in touch with a negative emotion. If you're feeling negative, you're going to attract a whole load of other negative things to make you feel that same thing again. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, Pricilla. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a little bit like, I think I spoke to you on my birthday on Friday. And Friday night, a mate of mine phoned up from America, and I was talking to him, and I said, "So, if you phoned up for a chat, or have you actually phoned up to wish me happy birthday?" And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, it's my birthday, and we haven't spoken since you went back in September, and you phoned me up today." And he said, "Oh, well, happy birthday." I said, "You," and he's funny because he doesn't really believe in any of this. And I said, "So you're really tuned in then, mate?" And he's like, "Yeah," you know, I always tease him a little bit, bless him. And he said, "Well, it's just a lucky phone call, isn't it?" And I said, "No, you're tuned in."
That's right. Yeah. So he was matching your vibration, and you were sort of picking up from there. You know, so when you hear from people that you haven't heard from for ages, you'll be matching the same vibration, and then when you communicate, you'll be you'll have things in common. You know, so you may have shared experiences, etc. And you might sort of say, "Oh, yeah, that's amazing. That's exactly what happened to me, or I felt that," etc. So people, if you look at your emotions as magnetic, yeah, if you think about your thoughts as electric and your emotions as magnetic, when you put the two together, electromagnetic, and you've got an electromagnetic field around your body. So but just going on to emotions for now, emotions are magnetic. So imagine you've got these magnets inside, and imagine that you're sort of sending up this magnetic frequency of whatever the feeling is. Could even be boredom, you know, something like that. You're sending up your boredom, and what you're going to get back in terms of return is something that's going to make you feel really bored. Yeah, so it's literally like attracts like, and that is the same with people. Like attracts like. So you're going to attract people of the same vibration, and your vibration sort of moves around a little bit every day, but you've got a kind of a standard vibration, you know, that's always increasing the more you do this kind of work. And I love what you guys do, you know, with the food and raw. I've been on the raw diet for some time. Sometimes I go to vegan, and especially in the winter months when I've got a dehydrator, and I love you know, drying out my foods and stuff like that. So I love what you guys do, and that changes vibration as well. So when you're eating really well and you're feeling really good, you know, your vibration's high. And likewise, when your vibration is high, you want to eat more healthy foods, don't you? So it's it kind of goes together. Yeah. So I don't know if that sort of helps. Does that make sense to you, Phil? The other Phil? Yeah. Yeah.
Phil, are there any questions you've got to ask Pricilla? Is there anything you'd like to know about what she's talking about?
I'm just going through with whatever comes up. So how are you seeing people's, with everything that's going on in the world in the last year, how are you helping people? What are you seeing? Because like you say, I mean, the foundation is emotional and the spiritual, but there's a lot of physical things happening in the world that are negatively affecting, you know, so they have an effect on the physical, the spiritual and the emotional and the mental. So it's just how to deal with that, and how do we overcome some, you know, kind of challenges that affect us physically and mentally. So
right, great question, Phil. Thank you. Yeah, lots going on in the world, loads and loads. If you come back to how you're feeling, so for example, if you've got if you've got something that affects you physically, it's still going to affect how you're feeling, which comes back to vibration. If you can go back to, how am I feeling right now? And if you can isolate that magnet effectively, you can, if you make a note of how you're feeling. So, for example, I'm helping quite a lot of my clients. I run sessions on a daily basis, and what what the situation has brought up, the world situation, lots and lots of people who are in fear, some people who are angry, some people who are frustrated. Lots of things as a result of lockdown, etc. So there are those clients who just want to come out of that sort of world, if you like. They want to feel better. They want to be able to go outside and experience nature and, get back to what is supposed to be normal. What if this whole process is really a process to get people to really tune into what they want in life? So for example, you might have executives that have been in the rat race for a long time and driving, being stuck in their car for their commute, and then they come home and then they're tired and they've got no time for the family because they're exhausted, etc. Well, what if this whole process is helping them to recognize that being at home is actually, maybe they can start their own business, maybe they can leave the corporate world, maybe it's not quite as difficult as they thought, and maybe it's just making people recognize what it is they really want in life. Now, if you're able to do that and pinpoint that, and it's a more challenging question that you might think, actually, because when you ask people, what do you really want, they find it quite challenging to answer. And what they typically say is, well, this is what I don't want, and this is what I don't want, and I don't want this, and I don't want that, because it's an automatic reaction. It's automatic to react in that way. But when they focus on what they do want, then they get better results, of course. So going back to your question in terms of what how people are reacting, if people are, for example, in fear, then it means that there is a fear magnet. They're literally getting to face their fears. And when you connect to that and you say, okay, I'm scared, you can, if you are able to tune in, why are you fearful? Who are you fearful of? Are you fearful of the situation, government, the police? Who are you afraid of? If it's fear of authority, for example, you might write down fear of authority, put it in a circle, and then go back all the way through your life and tune into all the times when you feared authority. And you'll find that it goes back to your childhood, which is where all the patterns created in the first place. When you can see that, the pattern starts to lift and it doesn't have the effect anymore. So that's sort of one example of something that you could do that's really, really simple. But there are also loads and loads of opportunities to come out of how you're feeling, the vibration, like colour, as Phil was suggesting, the other Phil. These lovely colour bottles is just one way, or you could bring in colour into the top of your head. If you wanted to feel calm, blue is a beautiful colour for helping you to feel calm. Fear sits in the frequency of yellow. So you might bring yellow into the top of your head and infuse yourselves with yellow. So it might sound a little bit mamby-pamby in terms of emotions, but these emotions are very, very, very powerful frequencies. They're incredibly powerful frequencies. And if they go unchecked, they can cause havoc in your body and in your life, because all you're doing is rerunning the same emotions and being stuck there over and over and over again. So I don't know if that's answered your question, Phil. Does that sort of help at all?
Yeah, it's good. I was just typing like fear authority there, and it's really interesting that these situations have brought up people's fears, and I think the fear of authority is a really big one, because there's a lot of authority stuff going on, and throughout our lives, through as soon as we're born, we go into this system of like control and schooling, and you have to follow all these rules, and then like it's been inbuilt, and like now we're like, oh, somebody's now fully taken away even more of our rights, and so people are going to stand up and go, enough, well, what do I do with this? But then it's scary to stand up, because it's like we're told we have to follow the rules. And I think in England we're really good. We like to follow rules, but then but we also like our freedom. So there's this I think there's this conflict, and I think and I think the reason this is continuing so long is because of people's fear of fear of authority, and because if we all just stood up and go, no, we're not doing this, we're not playing this game, we are free and we're taking our power back, it would be over, would have been over immediately. But because this has been ingrained deeply in us, and
that's right.
So maybe that's the discussion, is how, I suppose it starts with each of us, but how do we shift that energy in all of us to take this power back away from the crazy governments, which is our gift, our spiritual reflection, to stand up. But how do we, like, what tools do we have to make that shift and take our power back so we can be confident? Because I'm just like nervous about standing up, because I'm like, well, I don't want to upset somebody, or like, because I don't want to wear a mask in the store and I don't want to get into a conflict. But it's like, I know it's like ridiculous, but I know that more of us stand up, but I think a lot of us are scared to stand up because they feel,
That's it. That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And if you and you've touched on something really interesting here, because you'll tend to find that people see the government and the police, for example, or typically, I should say, I'm generalizing here, as dad. And they might see let's say the NHS as mum, because, you fall over, you graze your knee, mum comes over, makes it feel better. Yeah. So you've got kind of like a feminine, caring sort of psychology behind going to the doctor, making you feel better. You go and tell them how you feel, and they give you something, to sort of help you, or allegedly help you, so mum is tend to be reflected in the medical profession, and then dad's tending to be reflected in government, doctors, that type of thing. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's actually really interesting. And bearing in mind that all of the patterning that you're experiencing as an adult comes from your childhood anyway. So it's all sort of, once you're experiencing that as a child up to puberty, many psychologists will say between the ages of 2 to 6, but my experience tells me that it's from conception to puberty is sort of the recording period. And I've experienced sort of sessions with many clients who have sort of had that experience. So when I regress them back to childhood, find where the seam is, this very powerful seam, and this belief, the belief is, I'm afraid of authority, for example. We clear it out there in that memory, and it just doesn't take effect at all as an adult. So your whole perspective of life changes. So that's just one sort of way of doing it. But EFT is a really simple technique it doesn't cost anything. There are tons and tons of EFT videos on YouTube, in fact, I think. Have you done, I know you've done the EFT, Phil G. Have you done EFT, the other Phil?
Yeah.
You have, okay. So EFT would be, even though
go ahead and demonstrate something. That's great. Go
ahead.
Okay.
Do you want to have a go? Shall we have a go now and demonstrate how this works to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So taking what you've raised there, the fear of authority, if you are able to come up with an intensity level up to 10, between 1 and 10, Phil, what would you say the intensity level might be? If 10 is really strong and 0, 1 is, oh, I'm not really
6.
that afraid. 6, perfect. Okay. And what about you, Phil G?
Oh, I thought it was Phil's go.
Well, it's just
mine's definitely so much lower than it's ever been before. Now. Yeah. 3.
Just take a guess. 3. Okay. All right. So if you just copy what I'm saying and what I'm doing, we'll just do a few rounds, because and we'll just sort of see how that kind of feels. All right. So see if you can locate it in your body. See if you can locate the intensity in your body. See if you can give it a color and a texture. Yeah. Okay. You've got the color.
Mine's in my heart energy. It's kind of dense. Yeah.
Okay.
I put a lot in my heart. So.
Right. You're feeling a denseness in your heart. What color are you feeling it there, Phil?
It's dark. I'm not kind of sure. Maybe dark, black, gray. black. Yeah.
Okay, so dark black grey. And can you get in touch with the texture of it? If you put your hand into it, what sort of texture would it be?
It's like dense, not like super hard, but like it's dense. That's about
It's
the best
dense.
I can.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go with dense. And what about you, Phil G? Anything?
Yeah, heart area, interestingly enough, and mine's dark blue.
Okay, so you guys remember that, remember your numbers, and we just do some tapping. So even though I'm feeling these feelings,
I'm feeling these feelings,
and I'm afraid of authority,
I'm authority,
I'm ready to let it go now.
I'm ready to let it go now.
And even though I want to feel better, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
Love and accept myself anyway.
And even though I'm ready to release this fear of authority, I can relax now and let it go. Okay.
Phil's going to sleep.
This fear of authority.
I'm there.
This fear of authority. This fear that I'm feeling. So relaxed, I want to go to sleep.
I'm not going to sleep right now. I'm so relaxed.
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 This is quite easy.
This is quite easy.
It doesn't have to be hard.
Doesn't have to be hard.
This fear of authority. This is just under the arm here, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The fear of authority. Don't do this in traffic, by the way. This fear of authority.
What's that on the thumb? I've never done the thumb one before.
Yeah, just on the side of the thumb there, not on the nail, but just on the thumb there. Yeah.
That's not in the traditional location. That's interesting.
Yeah, some practitioners do. I do all the hand points. Not all the practitioners do all the hand points, but I tend to do that. So, and we're going to now go through the fingers. Fear of authority, and it's just literally on the cuticle sort of area. That's it. Fear of authority. That's it. Fear of authority. All this fear. I'm letting it go now. Okay. Deep breath in. Wow, you guys are powerful. I don't know what just happened there, but okay.
Some noise back there.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so how do you guys feel? Can you feel any different at all? Do you feel any different?
Mm-hmm. I got this big breath where I was like tense, and then towards the end it was like my shoulders relaxed and I released the breath. So
that's it.
I felt a relax, like a deepening. That was nice. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. Now that's just one round. Phil G, how did you get on?
Well, I heard you say, I feel clear of authority.
Well, perfect. Same
and I was
thing.
like, well, that's really cool. And then I realised that you were still saying fear after a while.
Absolutely. So you can see we just did one round of tapping there, and you've got instant relief. If we were to do sort of more rounds, if you were to repeat that, and literally all you say is, you can either say fear of authority, or you can say fear, or this dark feeling, or it's in my heart. You've given quite a bit of information to describe where the energy is. You can alternate with what you're saying. You could say it's in my heart, all this fear, it's in my heart, it's dark. Yep. So you're basically telling your body, you're giving your body the clue as to which energy you're working on at that particular time.
So let's just talk about the wording. So obviously, there's people who do scripts, but it sounds like you go more in tune with the wording that you say, right?
Absolutely.
So is there any yes, don't do that, like yes, do this kind of thing with what you say?
Yeah, listen to your body, listen to yourself. I mean, the whole point and everything that I really stand for is to help you to empower yourself, right? I want you to help to get back to the sovereign being that you are. And so what I would suggest is always tap on the negative. You can tap on the positive. There's a reason why, you know, you can certainly tap on the positive for certain circumstances. But if you tap on the negative, what you're really saying to your body is, okay, I'm listening to you now. I'm aware that there's this feeling inside. I can see the color. So you guys very expertly were getting into reading the energy in your body. Yeah, the energy was converted into a color. The color was the energy, and the texture of the color and the placement of where it is. So you might find that after a few rounds of tapping, that energy moves around your body. It could move because ultimately it wants to come out. It's blocked energy that wants to come out in the frequency of fear. That's really what it's showing you. So in answer to your question, tap on the negative, use your own words. You don't have to follow a script. There are plenty of YouTube videos, very, very good videos that you can just tap around with the YouTuber, but just follow the script. You've got the information. You've already told me the information, and literally just tap around those points and keep going. You know, keep going, and you're reminding your body which energy you're focusing on and ready to let go. So what you're saying ultimately at soul level, you're saying, okay, right, so I know that there's a blockage. I know that I'm feeling the frequency of fear, which is a very, very low vibration, but I don't want to feel like this anymore. I want to feel better. I want it to release. And so therefore, I'm going to tap around. I've got this, the tapping creates sort of, if you like, an electrical current. This is how I see it. And it disperses the energy block. It goes around the circuits and disperses the energy block. And Phil, when you said I had this big breath, I went like that and let it go. You were releasing blocked energy, because energy comes out in the form of the sigh. It can come out in a cough, in a sneeze, in a burp, sometimes the other end as well, but that's okay. You know, it's just a case of dispersing energy. I mean, who cares how it comes out? If it comes out, then that's great. Right. So ultimately, you want to feel more relaxed, more relieved. And the thing I absolutely love about EFT is that you're acknowledging how you're feeling. Yeah, so you're saying to yourself, this is how I feel. You're acknowledging that. And you're loving yourself enough to say, but I want to let this go now. Yeah, when you acknowledge an energy, it's practically, it's on its way out, really. You've acknowledged it. Yeah, all you're really then doing is tapping around the points to remind your body of the energy that you're working on, and then releasing it. So you should feel a bit better. And like I said, if you tap around a few times, you're going to feel amazing in a matter of minutes. Yeah, so that's one thing. That's one thing that you could do. Another thing is, like I said, you could bring in the frequency of yellow. So should we try that? Do you want to have a go with that and see how?
Yeah, no, I really like how, we'll just touch on EFT and then we'll go on to that. Just I really like how it's really non-judgmental, and it's just acknowledging yourself and not going, oh, this is wrong. It's just like you're just acknowledging where you're at, and it might take a while. So I really like that about EFT. It's not saying that there's something wrong with you. It's just acknowledging what you're feeling, and then also just you reminding yourself that you love yourself, and kind of just working through that until you can get to that space. So that's what I really like it too, and it's a good reminder because I've used it in the past and I'm not really using it right now, and it's like, oh shoot, and just doing that little moment, it's like, oh, this is really good stuff. So
yeah, that's right. You're very welcome, and very, very powerful as well. You know, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? All these simple things, once you know how to do it, how powerful they can be. And sometimes, yes, it's useful to have a reminder. But it changes if your energy is changing inside in terms of the blocks, then your energy is also changing on the outside in terms of the blocks in your life. Yeah, so you've got a micro and a macro type of situation going on here. So you're clearing the energies inside, and you're not feeling so fearful. Then you're actually seeing your whole world in a completely different way. And when you change your perception, and it's a natural perception because you're not feeling so fearful, you're going to be tuning into all the vibrations at a higher level of perception. So you'll be able to see sort of other things that you weren't able to see before. So your perception, of course, is all to do with your brow chakra. So this is about the opening up of your brow chakra. So EFT is just one of those many tools that you can use.
Yeah, and you use the word, I was thinking, you're like sovereign being, you know. It's
Absolutely.
like, and I think like when you look at the situation that's going on in the world, it's like we've been children, and it's like it's now time to, and that the authority stuff is part of that. It's time to step into the sovereign being and kind of grow up and not be the perpetual child, but it's like in a really it's like in a different way, because I think people are scared of that. They're like scared to grow up because they think it's something bad, like the Peter Pan kind of thing. It's like, well, no, it's like there's a different energetic. There's stepping into a sovereign being, and I think, and what that means, like we're all learning, you know, because we're all stepping into that sovereign being right now, and many of us, hopefully, lots of us, but you know, some are not. But the more of us that can step into it, hold space for others. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. So just to add in there, Phil, when I was out walking in the woods yesterday, what I realised is we're all children pretending to be adults, because we've got no clue how to be adults, but we know how to be children.
Yeah.
Actually, what we've got to do is come back to the joy, come back to the fun, come back to the exploration, get out, like me and Phil always say, get out in the woods, ride your bike. However, though, when you're out in the woods, be respectful of nature. Take your rubbish home is my big bugbear with people. So it's all right. It's all right me saying, you know, remembering the child, you know, with the adult wisdom of being respectful. What we were taught when we were taught all this when we were kids: pick up your rubbish, take it home, put it in the bin. We were taught that. So get out there, have some fun. Remember that we're all children pretending to be adults, because that came to me the other day, and I thought, wow, it's actually really powerful, because that's what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you're doing the tapping, you come out of child mode, and that's when you sort of really step into your sovereignty. I mean, to pick up on that point, Phil G, that you were just saying, you know, you're told to, when you're younger, to do what you're told. You know, you're told to stay indoors, or you know, you've got to stop playing now. It's time for dinner, or you know, all those things that that you're told to do, you know, and they just stay inside. They get locked inside. So you instinctively, you know, you do what you're told. And of course, you then see the world from that perspective. So you're told to do something, whether it's right or wrong is another matter, you know, whether it feels good, whether it feels genuine is another matter as such. But you can just tap out these emotions that started off in childhood, that then allow you to step into your sovereignty and to take your power back in a most loving, gentle way, you know, because you love yourself enough to do that effectively. So, but it's one of the many, many tools that are available for people right now if they don't know how to get out of these feelings. And if you change your inner world, your outer world changes as well. That's the beautiful thing about it. That's the thing that I really, really love about it. So when we look at authority as a subject matter, well, you might say, okay, well, where do I give my power away? Now, if we look at the brow chakra, do you guys know about those chakras? I know if you do, Phil, I guess you'll know all about the chakras. The brow chakra, of course, is all about your perception, and it's about authority. It's the color royal blue. So the complementary color of that brow chakra is gold. Now, what I mean by complementary is that gold and royal blue are seen by the body as the same frequency. And gold, of course, is all about your power. So this is where you question yourself, well, where do I give my power away? You know, and if you are afraid of authority, I wonder if you're afraid of your own authority. Are you afraid of your own authority? Are you afraid of your own power? I wonder. Yeah. Do you know that you are so, so powerful? You are such a beautiful, energetic soul that is so, so powerful that maybe your own power scares you, which is why you're afraid of authority. Could that be a possibility? The number one fear is not public speaking, spiders or snakes. It's fear of your own authority. So how about that? So I wonder if the whole world is now looking collectively at their fear of their own power. I wonder if that's a possibility.
Yeah, because very interesting thing you said, Pricilla, about being locked inside. What came to me was from I've shared every time we get onto this stuff on the show, I share it with when I did that fast, and I found an aspect of me locked inside of me.
Yes.
So actually, most of us have locked away multiple aspects of ourselves deep inside ourselves and thrown away the key. So when authority says stay inside, well, we're already there.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're just playing that out.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So when I do when I take people through in regression back to, let's say, childhood, we'll pinpoint the root of where this all sort of came from. So what happens is when you're a child and you go through a traumatic experience, and it could be kind of falling over, grazing your knee, and you're really, really upset, and how people responded around you made a really big difference, and a belief was then created. So what happens is this belief is created, and it might be something like, I'm not good enough, let's say. That's created. It's then encased in a layer of amnesia, a little bit like a walnut shell. And within that walnut shell, you've got a whole load of vibrations. So let's say you fell over, you grazed your knee, you're hurt, you're upset, you're angry, you're scared. Maybe you're scared of being told off, for example. So you've got there are 4 different frequencies, that I've just mentioned, 4 different emotions that are stuck in with this belief that's encased in amnesia. And the idea of that, the subconscious, is to make sure that you never experience that again. It's trying to protect you. It's like a protective mechanism. So that all sounds like a great idea. So what then happens is, after puberty, everything gets thrown up in the air. All the emotions get thrown up in the air, all kind of chaotic, and then they land, and then you go into replay. So you then replay all of those same vibrations: hurt, upset, anger, fear. You replay them in other situations, and the idea is to show you that you've got those inside that need to be released. So you'll attract subconsciously, I hasten to add, situations to make you feel certain things, and those things, when you take note of those things and you trace them back, which is what we were doing at the beginning of this session, we go back to the root of where they started. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, it does.
So I'll give you an example of, I could give you lots of different examples, but this one is quite an interesting example. I saw a client, it was some years ago now, and he was going for a promotion, and every time he went for a promotion, he never got it. This was all the way throughout his life. He could not figure it out. So we traced all the way back. We went back to when he was younger. Now, his mum was cooking dinner and we're just about to serve dinner. And he reached up for a cookie, biscuit, and he got slapped on the wrist and he was told, "You don't deserve it." Literally just like that. Anyway, that scene then created the "I don't deserve it" when he went for the promotions when he was older. You see how it works? It's something so simple, but it was stuck inside and repeating until he sort of said, well, hold on a minute, why does this keep happening to me? So when people start to question, why does this keep happening to me? It doesn't happen to everybody else, but it's happening to me. What's going on? Then you're on a winner because you're asking the right question. When you start to ask that question, you start to explore that, you can actually go right the way back to why it's happening. Remove that root, and then you change the outcomes. So, of course, we did the clearing in the session. It was just the one session. It doesn't always work like that. Sometimes it's more than one, 2 or 3. Sometimes it's longer. You never really know. It depends on how many layers there are. But we cleared on that, and of course, he was promoted. Another instance, this client, she said to me, I must be picking the wrong guys. I'm going for the wrong guys. Why does this keep happening? I keep getting rejected, and it happens over and over and over again. And I'm sick of it now because I really want to find a loving man in my life, etc. Anyway, so we did the clearing in the session, and again, this just happened to be the one time, and so we did the clearing, and we went all the way back to when she was 2 years old, and she was in the hospital, and her baby sister was being born. Her mum and dad were there. Her dad had been holding her hand, and all of a sudden her dad let go of her hand to pick up her sister, and she wanted her dad to hold her hand again and to kind of give her a hug, and she felt rejected by her dad. So that scene, as simple as it was, as innocent as it was, because of course her dad had no idea that this was going on, but that really kind of sort of sunk into her subconscious and created this massive rejection of men all the way throughout her life. The lovely thing is that at the end of the session, she literally walked out of the session and walked around the corner, and she bumped into this guy who she's now married to. And the very same week that this happened, she also got one of her friends set her up on a blind date, and she also got asked out by somebody that she'd been out with before, kind of a long time ago. So you could see that there are lots of things happening there. The law of attraction, because she'd released this block, the law of attraction just automatically started working. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
just phenomenal. It is so magical. So when you're working with the subconscious and the law of attraction at the same time, if you look at what is happening in your life and how you're feeling, and you trace it back and you get to the root and you release that root, then your whole world changes, your whole perception changes, everything changes, because the universe wants to send you abundance. Yeah, your natural state is abundance. As a sovereign being, you're abundant, you're light, you're infinite, you're curious, you're fun, you're happy. You're all these wonderful, wonderful things. And the only reason why you don't get this in your life is because of all these blocks. So you start to identify the blocks, you start releasing the blocks, and hey presto, you've got a completely different life experience. Yeah.
So I just want to add in there, Pricilla, about you know, when people ask for abundance, because you've got to be really careful, because even if you think you're being clear, the universe will and always does give you what you focus on. So a prime example is, right, when I was looking for another van, I did not want a white Mark 6 Transit van. I was really clear on that. What turned up? A low mileage white Transit Mark 6 at a cracking price that I couldn't refuse. And it's just like, okay, I wasn't clear about the exact van that I did want, but I was really clear about what I didn't want. Yes. And the universe doesn't care whether you want it or not. What it cares about is what you focus on. It's really that simple.
It is. It really, really is. And the reason why it's so challenging to not focus on what you want is you're so used to getting not what you want. Yeah. So you automatically follow through. Oh, well, this is never going to happen to me, or, you know, or self-doubt or whatever. And you then end up getting exactly that, what you don't want. Exactly. So it's a really good point you've made there. I mean, the amount of people that have had broken arms and broken legs, and I've said, okay, well, what were you thinking just before that happened? And they say, oh, I really need a break, meaning a holiday. And of course, they end up with a broken arm. I need a break. Well, they got a break, didn't they? It wasn't the kind of break that they wanted. So you do need to define exactly what you mean, because otherwise you'll get the literal. You'll get that.
Yeah, so, and another example of that, Pricilla, I think I shared with you before, is when I was focusing on wanting to, well, I wasn't, but I'll tell the story this way. I was focusing on needing to change my career and wanting to be a practitioner, you know, and do shamanic work with people. And I said to the universe, how do I stop being a builder? Well, that's the wrong question, because I went to my van and all my tools were stolen, right? So you might well laugh. You know what, though? I've done that twice.
Oh, God.
I've done that twice, and it was about a $3,000 mistake each time.
Wow.
So I was talking to my dad in the kitchen, not this summer, the summer before, and I said, the trouble is, Dad, the building work, and I'm gonna calm down. I said, the trouble is, Dad, you know, the building work's really in the way, and, you know, and I think I really need to give up the building in order to change. And I said it, and I packed it, obviously, full of emotion. This was on the Thursday. Sunday lunchtime, I was parked in a really busy hotel car park. I parked there 9:30 in the morning. I went back for my lunch at 1 o'clock, and all my tools were gone again.
Wow.
And I was like, oh man, I've done it again. Because I was focused on, again, it wasn't that I didn't want it. I was focused on the wrong thing. The wrong thing wasn't how not to be a carpenter or builder, because that's easy. You just stay in bed, right? That's dead easy. How not to do something, how to be something, and how to transform your life, and how to move forwards. That's a whole different question.
Yeah. Absolutely. So how would you now, knowing that then, Phil, how would you now have phrased, sorry to put you on the spot here, but how would you now phrase, what you wanted out of the situation?
Out of the situation now, what I've learned is to be clear. It's like, if I want to build a practice coaching people, then I need to say to the universe, hey, universe, how do I build a practice coaching people? How do I attract the ideal client? How do I create that? How do I create people in my life to say, hey, Phil, in order for you to do that, you've got to do X, Y, and Z. In order for you to do that, you need this insurance. That's now, if I was conscious about, I was just talking about the situation before and exploring what I thought I needed to do, which of course the universe answered my question really clearly. And actually, if I'm not been a builder, how can I fund what needs to be done? Because I could reduce the time down of, which is what I've done, reduce the time down of being a builder, carpenter, so I can focus on being a practitioner and helping people, whether it be with food or color or EFT or shamanically counseling people, is to or maybe like within the past with you, Pricilla, phone you and say, hey, Pricilla, look, this is what I need to focus on. This is where I'm stuck. And then of course you come along and say, whatever the question is you asked me. And then, but yes, we I had a mate years ago, this was about 2003. And between him and his wife, I can't remember the way around it was. I think he didn't want an Audi and she didn't want a silver car. Well, you can guess what they got, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
They got a silver Audi at a cracking price, low mileage. Because that's what they focused on.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And the universe doesn't understand no or not or negatives, you see. So when you're saying something in the negative, it will ignore that word. Yeah, so you need to take that word out, look at what you're sending, and then when you recognize that, you will change what you're sending, what you're sending out to the universe. So you want to keep it focusedly. You need to keep the focus on a positive. Wouldn't it be nice? You could say, wouldn't it be nice if I had more coaching clients right now? Wouldn't it be nice if I had less clients on the building side and I had more clients on the coaching side? That the thought of that actually makes me feel really good. And if you start off just putting it in that way, it's genuine. You're not actually sort of saying, I've already got it, and that really is the key, to imagine you've already got it. But going to not having it, to imagining you've already got it, can be a bit of a big step. So if you actually just ask the question, wouldn't it be nice? And I wonder how this makes me feel. Or actually, this feeling is a lovely feeling when I think about this, when I think about my dreams, etc. You are bridging the gap between those two big, it being a pipe dream and feeling it in your body, because you're beginning to feel it, you're beginning to build up that feeling, you're beginning to get excited about it. So that's a good point. And it's but if you avoid the negatives, say, wouldn't it be nice, focus on how that would feel if you had that now.
So it's always about focusing, because I think it is in The Secret, they said energy, what is it? Energy flows where intention goes.
Yes.
Is it like that?
Absolutely.
And the universe doesn't care. whether you're focused on something you do or you don't want, you're focused on it.
Yeah.
And
It'll
you know,
just
and I've now done that twice, and it's cost me a heck of a lot of money. So I know that actually it works. And the same as the white Transit, the white Mark 6 van, I knew what I didn't want, but I couldn't make up my mind what I did want. So I talked a lot about, well, I don't know what I want, but you know, I really don't want one of those. So I think, I think it's, and what people don't understand is, or what they forget, or what they haven't thought about is, we're manifesting all day,
all the time,
every day. And because most of us, we've learned about what we don't want.
Absolutely.
So we keep getting, of course, what we don't want.
Yeah.
So we have to be really careful of that. And then we're taught, as you were saying, Pricilla, about we have to act as if we've already got it. Well, and I agree with you with what you were just saying. It's safe to explore what it would be like.
Yeah.
Or how would it feel if I had this?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you get what you don't want.
Yes.
So we have to really explore around what we do want and play around with that of what would it be like. And I really love that, Priscilla. Can you just reframe that again for us again? Can you just repeat it with what was it you saying? What would it be like? Was that your statement?
Yeah. So you might say, okay, to take your example there, Phil, you might say, wouldn't it be nice if I had more clients, more coaching clients? And I wonder how it would feel if I could just let go of the building business and move more into coaching and coach with food or with colour or with EFT. I wonder how that would feel. I love the thought and I love the feeling of how that makes me feel. Yeah, so you're actually really getting in touch with it, but you're being totally honest and genuine. That's the bit I love about it. You're being genuine. You're not being asked to pretend you've got it and that's it. Because for most people, that's too far away. To pretend you've actually got something when you haven't, you're saying, well, I haven't got it. You know, that's a lie. That's not actually true. So it doesn't resonate with your body. Yeah. So it has to resonate with your body. It has to be in resonance. That's what it's all about. All you're really doing is coming into alignment with you as a soul. And you're saying as a soul, wouldn't it be nice in my life if I could have more coaching clients? I wonder how that would make me feel. Oh yeah, that makes me feel really good. Yeah, I'm feeling it now. I'm imagining it now. So when you're tuning into your imagination is creating all these pictures and all of this energy to draw towards you. You know, so you don't have to go out and get it. You relax, you allow it to draw to you because you're excited. Yeah, you're beaming. Yeah, you've got this glow around you. You've got this sort of attraction. Yep. So the universe is going to match that attraction. And that's really the key. It's about being genuine with yourself, kind to yourself, and honest with yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get the results that you want, because the results that you want or that you don't want, let's say, are coming your way. What they're really showing you is what you need to calibrate. You need to recalibrate. So it's saying, so let's say you, in your case, Phil, you did exactly that. You looked at these two situations and you said, okay, my tools were stolen. So what do I need to recalibrate? What do I need to say or think or feel? Bearing in mind it's about vibration and how you're feeling. What do I need to change next time? And you got the answer, didn't you? You realized that all that was feedback. It wasn't that you're not good at manifesting, you can't do it, not good enough. It's none of that. All of those things, we tell those stories about ourselves when we don't get what we want. Yeah, but all it really is about recalibrating and saying, okay, well, these are the results I've got. I've got to try it differently next time. So what can I do differently next time? And what did I do last time that gave me the results? Because if you look at what you're thinking and how you're feeling just before the negative result came back to you, you would be shown the answer. And this is why, if you then do that, you step into your sovereignty. You are a soul. You are very good at manifesting. And okay, so you manifested the wrong thing, but actually you didn't. You manifested the right thing. It just wasn't the thing that you wanted. Yeah. So.
So just to finish off that story about the second time my tools were nicked, I was working for an elderly doctor, and I told him the story. The day later, and he said, "How much money do you need?"
Well,
And I was like,
there you go.
So that was so I didn't take the whole lot. And then the next night I had a phone call from a mate of mine. He said, "Phil, why don't you pop round? I've got an old drill you can have."
There we go.
So I turned up, and he didn't have an old drill. He gave me 5 new power tools.
There we go. And you didn't have to do anything for that apart from align with yourself. Yeah. So this is you aligning with yourself as a soul, saying, what did I do? Okay, I'm going to change that now. So you kind of, the universe rewarded you basically for aligning with yourself. Look at it that way. The universe rewards me when I align with myself.
Yeah, I had instant as soon as I recognized what I'd done again.
Yeah.
And the universe got it. He's like, "Oh, he didn't mean that."
Yeah.
So bam, there I was recompensed straight away for a cosmic mistake.
Yeah. Although, was it a mistake, or was it just a need for recalibration on your path to help you? Because you will find that incredibly valuable for your clients, because you'll be able to hold the space when they're perhaps frustrated or saying, "I'm not good enough, I can't manifest properly," etc. You'll be able to hold the space beautifully because you understand how it works, the mechanisms of how it works.
I totally got the second time. I totally got it. It's like, I've done it again. That was too much. It was too much emotion attached to what I didn't want.
Yeah, that's right. So that's amazing. And when I run workshops and I say to people, I say, okay, who's good at manifesting? And not many people put their hands up, actually. And then when I say, have you attracted things, or have you experienced things in your life that you don't want? And everybody then puts their hands up. And I said, well, you're good at manifesting then, aren't you? You're just not perhaps focused on what you really, really want. Yeah. So going back to Phil, the other Phil's point about fear, let's say. So if fear is a block, and I said to you, okay, what do you want? How easy would it be for you to define what you want?
Well, I know what I want right now. I mean, I got like stuff there, right? I don't want to speak because you're gonna be like, oh, he just said that. So I actually want to be back in England with Susan, my wife, and my dogs. And they've actually got a home there. My parents have bought us a home, which is the universe has sent us that.
Lovely.
But I've got a lot of blocks around it. I feel trapped. There's like, how am I going to get over there? And there's like many layers. And I'm like, whoa, it's like, is it like a childhood thing? Is it fear of this? Or like, and I've got all these reasons in my head about why it's not happened yet. And I'm like, I feel trapped, that's one word. It's like I feel trapped in my current job or my position. It's like a fear about finances and fear about how to get the dogs over there, and just like all of these reasons. And it's like, oh, these are, and I know that there's kind of infinite spiritual level. It's like, this is ridiculous. I know my soul's meant to be there. I got that guidance when I was there a few years ago that I'm supposed to return to the land there. I got it clear. I did I think when you go back and you talk to your higher soul, there was like a process. I can't remember the name of the process, but I did that, and it was pretty clear. It came through that I was supposed to return to the land. But it's a couple of years ago, and that hasn't happened. And we're like, okay, I probably got some blockages here or some stuff that I'm not looking at. So I'm just loading on you. This is my personal stuff.
Sorry, I didn't mean to ask a personal question, but thank you for sharing.
No, that's why we're doing this, because I think we're evolving together, and I'm sure hopefully it's helping people.
Sharing. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. So you identified the trapped and the fear. Okay, you mentioned the 2 vibrations. If you were to do the tapping rounds on trapped, and if you were to follow that energy and the color and the shape and the texture until it was completely gone from your body, and if you were to do the same thing with fear and just keep tapping, and you mentioned 2 specific instances regarding the fear, how you're going to get over there and how you're going to get the dogs over there, so you can be quite specific about the fear and what it relates to. If you were to do that tapping and you would go round and round and round, just keep tapping it out, you would literally release those blocks, and instantly something would come to you. You would get, because you've got all the answers, as you know. I mean, you've already identified that you, as a sovereign being, you've got the answers, but you've also noticed that you've got these blocks. So it's not that you can't sort of come over here, it's just that at the moment it seems like almost an impossible task. So this is the subconscious kicking in. This is the subconscious saying, no, you can't have this, you can't have that, I'm trying to protect you from these feelings. And actually, when you've tapped them out, then you've cleared them. So the subconscious and the subconscious mechanisms that I was talking about earlier, you know, this walnut shell with all these vibrations inside, and the belief, that seems like a great idea, doesn't it, to protect you from not feeling those feelings again, except that those vibrations inside the walnut shell are magnetic. And they send their frequencies, their magnetic frequencies that send up to the universe, and the universe then sends you back situations to make you feel the trapped, the fear, and the fear of not being able to get your dogs over there. Yeah. So now that you're presented with this picture, you've got the picture, you know exactly what to tap on. So although the subconscious, it seems great because it's protecting you from not feeling those things, it actually really doesn't work. It really, really doesn't work because of this vibrational aspect to it. And so when you get the feedback from your reality reflection in terms of what the main vibrations are that are in your way, and you clear those, you're going to get a completely different picture. So you might want to give that a go. Yeah, give it a go. The other thing is, if I said to you, where can you feel trapped, the energy of trapped in your body? Can you pick up where in your body you can actually feel that?
It's always a heaviness in my heart. That's because that's where like I manifest my like an imbalance too. So yeah, it's usually a weight on my heart. So
A weight in your heart. Okay. Can you identify the color?
Yeah, I think it's black.
Black.
Solid.
Okay.
It's solid.
Solid. Okay.
Like metallic.
Metallic. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, different to the other energy we were working on earlier.
It is different,
yeah. So you as a soul are reading frequencies, you're reading energies. You were able to tell me it's a different energy now that you're in touch with, yeah? It's solid, meaning that it's immovable, meaning that it's impossible. You see, the words that are associated with it is not impossible, but that's how it is interpreted by your body. It's blocked, it's stuck, it's solid. Yeah, it's not malleable as such. Okay, so now, if I were to ask you, what color frequency is going to help to dissolve that black solid feeling? What color would you say?
I don't know if it's because you said it earlier, but blue jumped into my head. But I don't know if that's what it is.
Perfect. But... Okay. So just imagine, even if you're humoring me right now, but just imagine bringing in blue into the top of your head. You're just closing your eyes and just infuse your whole body with blue. And is it a mid blue? Is it like a royal blue or an indigo?
Like navy blue. Yeah.
A navy blue, right? Okay. So just bring it in and bring it into all of your cells. Bring it into your entire body and allow it to concentrate around your heart area. Okay. Just tell me how that feels and what's happening.
It feels good.
Great.
I feel like there's a little bit of softening there.
Excellent. In a second, you knew exactly the color frequency you needed as a soul. You brought that color in. You softened the energy that was inside there. If you continue with that practice, I don't know if you do any meditation and, that type of thing, but, this type of example of just bringing in the color, and you know exactly the color that you need. So royal blue can be about authority, funnily enough, boys in blue, etc. It's associated with the brow chakra. So the way that you're seeing the situation is through the perception, your current perception. Yeah, so the brow chakra is blue, royal blue, the indigo blue, and you decided that you needed blue. So you needed to clear the aspects connected with authority that were in your way of coming over here. i.e. restrictions in the physical world. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
But you knew the color. You knew exactly the color you needed. Yeah.
It was really like,
So
it's so funny when those things like come up and it's like, well, am I just making this up? Like, where did that come from? Like, it was like blue. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Exactly. So everybody has this ability to bring in whatever color is right for them at the time, which is the perfect frequency for them at the time. So that's another thing that you can do. And again, it's not going to cost you anything. This is something you could do yourself. You know, the tapping is something you could do yourself. The color, bringing in the color is something you could do yourself.
Because do you want to talk more a little bit about color therapy? And like, that's kind of, we're tapping into the color now. Do you want to talk more about that? And yeah,
of course, absolutely. Yeah. So everybody knows actually everything about every color. So when I run color practitioner courses, I teach color practitioners and teachers as well. And when we're exploring colors, and I say, okay, well, when I mention the color yellow, for example, what things come to mind? Yeah. So can you mention anything that comes to mind with yellow, with the color
custard.
yellow? Custard. Yeah.
The sun.
Cowardly custard. The sun. Yeah.
Warmth.
Okay. Warmth. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So taking those three as examples, cowardly custard, the lack of confidence sits in the frequency of yellow. Yeah. Or if you're feeling like a coward, that sits in the frequency of yellow. It's an imbalance in your solar plexus. Yeah. So you need yellow in order to clear the negative yellow out of your body, the negative lack of confidence, let's say. Yeah. So you can see that we use the terms on a daily basis about colour. You know, green with envy, feeling blue, got the blues. Yeah. So whatever you're describing in this language is exactly the emotional frequency that sits in that colour. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we all know already. You don't even have to go on a course for this. You already know all there is to know about colour, because we are colour. If you look at the soul, and if you combine all the colours of the rainbow together, you get the white light. Yeah. So we've all got coloured chakras. We've got the colour of the rainbow inside. Yeah. So you already know the colour. So colour is absolutely amazing. It's very, very quick. It goes straight there. You can actually pinpoint exactly what the block is when you're talking colour. And we talk colour all the time, literally all the time. So it's absolutely fascinating when you're working with colour. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to have one of these bottles to work with. You can work with colour in any number of ways.
Yeah. What different ways can you use colour?
Okay, so you can bring the colour in, as I was suggesting earlier. You can bring it in through the top of your head. You can bring it into all of your chakra points. You can use colour to clear your fields, because effectively everything that you're experiencing sits in your field. All the information sits in your field and is interpreted by your body through your cell receptors. Yeah, so the energy in your field, you've heard of people saying, oh, I'm going to clear the air, or I need to clear the air. Yeah, you're actually clearing energy that's sitting around in your field, stagnant energy that's affecting how you respond to things, etc. So you can bring colour into your field. You can go out to nature, as Phil G was saying earlier, go to nature. When you're going into nature, get in touch with the colour of the leaf, of all the different shades, etc. And you'll immediately tune into your instinctive nature with colour. You could cook with colour. I mean, you guys, this is your thing, isn't it? Yeah, raw food. Cook with colour. I used to run some cook with colour evenings, which was so much fun. And I'll give you an example. So we were doing yellow one evening. So I got all my yellow bottles, because I work with colour mirrors, amazing system colour mirrors, and we had all the yellow bottles, so we've got yellow sprays and we've got yellow round bottles, etc., and we were doing yellow meditations, and everybody was sort of wearing something yellow, bringing in something yellow to connect with. So we were immersing ourselves in yellow, and then we went into the kitchen and we were cooking with yellow foods, and we were making lemon syllabub, and all sorts of yellow was coming in, yellow courgettes and things. And one of the things about yellow is the intellect. Yeah, it's about the logical mind, the intellect. And so anyway, there we were having our meal, and we're sitting there in this beautiful old manor house, where they have other guests as well. And this other group that was sitting right next to us happened to be a group of mathematicians who were, of course, so anything to do with numbers and the intellect. There they were. We manifested them because we were working with yellow. It was really quite amazing. So you could cook with yellow, even yellow drinks. So there are lots of different ways, and the Egyptians used to do this. They used to be very much into colour with all the makeup that they used to use as well, and they used to infuse themselves with the colour. They used to eat the foods of that colour frequency as well. So it's really amazing, fascinating. Yeah. So does that help, Phil?
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Out of the guys that are watching us, that are on Zoom with us, have you got any? Is there any questions? Phil's just typed in. If anyone has any questions, please type them in. So this is a great time now. If anyone that's watching, and thanks for all the coloured mirrors guys and the coloured clearers that have jumped on the show. I think there was a bit of confusion.
Hi guys.
Which I'm really sorry about, because Phil put out the flyer with 7 o'clock, and I think I must have forgot to tell him it was 6 o'clock. So
I did change it later, so I'm so used to our 7 o'clock time. So
there was a bit of my fault for being a bit slack there. I think Phil had not being at home and working away, so it always makes things a bit more difficult. So any of the coloured clearers, or my sis, or Emily. Sorry, I think we all thought it was 7. Oh, I know, Emily, I'm sorry. My fault. I know, because I noticed a load of you jumped on and said hi, and it was like 5 to 7, just 5 past 7. So I'm really sorry there. Oh yeah, someone, and Emily wrote, "We'll watch the replay." Great. Yeah, of course it's on. It's going to be recorded on YouTube and also brand new tube. So if anyone wants to watch the bit they've missed, fab. So any questions anyone wants to ask, add in, whatever, let me know. And
we had somebody who was watching on YouTube, and they noticed that their energy they didn't say specifically, they said a number 5, and it was in their chest, and it was deep purple, and it was sticky, and then after they worked through, they went down to a 2, and then they said it felt warm and it was no longer sticky. So it was just because we were talking about different energies, but yeah, they're talking about stickiness and different colors. So that's really cool.
Okay, that's interesting, and I wonder if that person who's just shared that information has. I wonder if there's any grief going on at the moment. Because grief is a very sticky vibration, and I think they mentioned it was purple, and purple is where grief sits, deep purple. So it could suggest deep grief. So grief comes up not only when we kind of lose someone close to us, but when you're ending a relationship, you ending a job, or maybe you're looking around at the world and that's the feeling that's coming up right now. But it's amazing that they've got that bit of relief. So they just keep tapping around. The grief will just go, it will unstick. But that's amazing. So noticing the number, noticing what's different, they're reading energy. That's great. That's really amazing. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Do you want to maybe, like the other week, Phil's done it a few times on the show, where he's just done some color for the whole group, and he's just kind of send it into the group. And I just don't know if you want to tune in and maybe send some good energy and some good color energy to the whole group. Okay. So we like to do that, right, Phil? Is that good with that, Phil?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, lovely. So let me just sort of tune in and see the colour frequency that might just help. Okay, what I'm getting is turquoise would be a really great colour to share with everybody. So I'm going to...
Yeah, because a big thing that Phil and I always talk about a lot is really building our tribe and building our community. And I think that there's an awakening happening, and the more we can connect with people who are in alignment, and I think the more we can clear any blocks that are holding us from coming together, like especially the physical is preventing us sometimes coming together. So let's clear that so we can really connect as a soul group and a tribe or a community. So
beautiful, beautiful, lovely. Okay, so I've got this turquoise spray. It's actually called Turquoise Dragon. I'm going to spray some. You don't need to do this, but I'm just going to do this because it just feels right. Okay, so if you like to just for a moment, just close your eyes and just relax your body completely. Okay, and I'm going to send this beautiful turquoise light your way. So just see and just feel it coming into your fields, into your outer fields. And it's beautiful crystalline turquoise energy flowing in. Your body's feeling really relaxed. It's coming into your body now. And as it flows into your body, it's flowing into all the nooks and the crannies, all the aspects of tightness, all the control, where you feel perhaps out of control or controlled, or you need to control your emotions or anything along those lines. And just allow the flow to go right into your body, into all the cells, so that you relax, because flow is the opposite frequency to control. So when you release control, when you surrender, when you relax, you can just feel your whole body relaxing. Just feel your shoulders relaxing and just turning all of your cells beautiful turquoise color. And when one cell turns turquoise, so does the next, so does the next, so does the next. And it spreads throughout your body. And all of your organs are turning turquoise, and your spine is too. And imagine this beautiful turquoise energy flowing into your back. Give it a moment. And down your legs. And out through the soles of your feet, deep, deep into the earth, like you're growing roots right into the center of the earth, locking in place. And now flow all the turquoise up from your feet to the top of your head, and coming out at the top of your head and into the chakra above your head, your soul star, locking in place. And shoot that turquoise up to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, and 7,000. And feel those beautiful pulses of turquoise light mixing into gold and copper. And bring that turquoise, gold, and copper light all the way down into 25, 20, 15, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out through the soles of your feet again and locking into place. And now, take a lovely deep breath in, breathing out. And just feel really relaxed. Know exactly who you are. Know that you are light. Know that you can manifest anything. Know that what you're seeing in the world, you can shift. You can shift that within you. And you get a whole new perspective and a whole new reality. So wishing that for all of you. And thank you very much for the opportunity. And thank you for allowing me to be on your show this evening as well.
Welcome. That was really lovely.
Priscilla, lastly, what do you just to be clear for you and for people, what is it that you offer?
What do I offer? I offer one-to-one sessions. So that could be EFT, it could be colour, it could be life coaching. I'm sort of psychotherapist as well, regression therapist. So I've got quite a few tools in the toolbox, the one-to-one sessions. And I typically do those over Zoom these days. Some telephone sessions. I very rarely do traditional life coaching sessions anymore. I'm always working with energy these days, and colour in particular, colour and EFT. So I do that. I also run a number of training courses. I'm going to be running some more training courses on Zoom as well, and face-to-face, of course, when all of the restrictions are lifted, etc. So that could happen at any time. Who knows? Who knows what tomorrow will bring? So yeah, training. I do colour readings, free colour readings. If anybody would like a free colour reading just to explore that, I ask them to pick 3 colour bottles from my website, and I then interpret what the colours are telling me in terms of what's going on in their life at the moment and what blocks they're ready to release. That could be a very cathartic process for people and a great introduction to colour. So yeah, that's really about it. So people are welcome to contact me if I could be of service.
And where can people find you?
Okay, so my website is www.priscillaelliott.co.uk. So Pricilla is spelled Pricilla, and it's ELLIOTT.co.uk. So very welcome to contact me on there. I don't tend to do very much social media, mainly because I don't have a great deal of time. I'm in sessions all the time or training. But I do have a Facebook page. I haven't been on it for quite some time, admittedly, but probably the website is the best place to contact me right now. So, yeah.
So just, have you got time for one more? We've got one question coming, Pricilla.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No problem.
It's actually from Susanna. My friend is colourblind. They can see primary colours, but not secondary colours.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then the pre-question to that was, can people who are blind or colorblind work with color? So it's kind of connected to that. So
yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great question. Great question. The answer is colour still works, 100%. Yes. It's really more to do with the frequency. Sometimes you'll hear me call it a frequency, sometimes you'll hear me call it a vibration. It's the same thing. It's a vibrational frequency. Every single colour is a different vibrational frequency. And even with some of my regular clients and clients that have trained with me as colour practitioners and teachers, I ask them to shut their eyes and pick the colour, and they pick exactly the colour that they need. They do it with their eyes shut because it's not what you're seeing, it's what you're feeling. Yeah, so that's the key here. It's a vibrational frequency, and that's why it's so powerful in terms of the vibrational emotions. Every emotion is a vibrational frequency, and every color is a vibrational frequency. So you as a soul, you know exactly the color you need to match the vibrational frequency emotion to shift it out. Yeah. So I think, Susanna, you were saying they can see primary colours, but they can't see secondary colours. Is that right? Was that the question? That's really interesting, actually. Yeah. So does it kind of cause them a problem just seeing the primary colours and not the secondary colours? Just to explain, the primary colours are the red, the yellow and the blue. Yeah, they're the primary colours. And out of those primary colours, you get secondary colours by mixing those colours together, 2 of the colours together, 2 each time. Yeah, so you then get the secondary colours coming through. So so yeah, that's just interesting. So that would be to do with the cones in the eyes. What happens is, for example, let's take blue. If your eyes are saturated with blue for long enough, that one will shut down. And the other 2 colours that are left are the yellow and the red. So if you mix yellow and red together, you get orange. Does everybody get that? Do you want me to repeat that? Yeah. So
repeat that for us.
Yeah. So okay, you've got 3 colours. Yeah. So you've got blue, you've got yellow, and you've got red. So if blue is saturated, in other words, if you're seeing, let's say, a blue blanket, your eyes are focused on a blue blanket, and you're saturated with blue, the blue will shut down and leave the yellow and the red. And if you mix the yellow and the red together, you get orange. Yeah. So orange is a complementary to blue. It's read by the body as the same frequency. This isn't really anything you need to know specifically, but this is what I mean by primary colours, and this is what is meant by secondary colours. That's just a very interesting thing. And some people are, let's say, colourblind. They're not colourblind. They're just seeing a slightly different frequency. They're tuned into sort of slightly different frequencies. That's really all that it is. So without actually being able to ask the question, well, how does this affect this person? I can't really answer the question as such. If you see what I mean.
They avoid using colour in choosing clothes and in their house.
Oh, how interesting! Right, okay.
How can you actually avoid using
colour? Yeah, because it's
your clothes in your house. Does that mean that they've got no house and they're naked then?
It does suggest, of course, a blockage in terms of seeing themselves as colour. When you are happy to look at all colours, when you're happy to look at all colours, you're saying these are all the colours of me. I can go to the black, I can go to the grey without any judgment. I can go to the brown without any judgment, or I could go to yellow without any judgment. So if I'm seeing all the colours and embracing all the colours in my life, it basically means I'm embracing the whole of me, without any judgment. Yeah. So if you've got somebody that's just stuck on certain colours or avoiding colours, at the same time, they're kind of avoiding themselves, seeing themselves.
So interesting here then, Pricilla. She's written, they go for black and white, which is duality, isn't it?
There we go, duality, yeah. So recognizing themselves just purely as human, that's the duality. They know underneath it all that they're a soul in a body having a human experience, but they're just seeing the human experience without the soul aspect. There's also the other aspect of seeing. You've got the coloured, the 3 cones, and you've got the rods. So the rods are the black and the white. That's where you kind of see the black and the white as such. Yeah. So, but in terms of at a soul level, absolutely duality. Yeah, the black and the white. It also suggests that maybe they just see things in black and white. Yeah, they can't see things with the whole spectrum. So maybe they're not willing to explore the whole spectrum, to explore other perspectives, to explore other colours, other things in their lives. Yeah, it's really, really interesting. I was doing a holistic fair some time ago, and I had all my colour bottles. So I've got over 100 colour bottles, and I was facing the entrance, and it was really interesting. This lady, she came in and she just went like that, and she completely avoided all the colours, and she came around 3 times. She was walking around, and each time she would sort of take a little bit of a peek at the colour, a bit longer each time and getting a bit closer. And in the end, because I was doing colour readings at the time, and she joined the queue. And then when she got to me, she said, when I first saw all this colour, I couldn't face it. I just had to move away from it. And I just sort of smiled. And I said, would you happen to be avoiding something in your life right now? And she went, oh my God, yes, I am. And so, the way that we react to colour is indicative of what's happening in our life. It's literally a mirror, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just going to apologise about what I said about you choosing to using colours, because of course I'd forgotten that the friend was colourblind.
Right.
So I apologise for that flippant reply. I'd forgotten about the fact that she said my friend was colourblind. So
right.
Totally. So I apologise for that, Susanna.
Yeah. Does that all make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no more questions, Pricilla. So
What a great show.
Thank you very much. It's been fantastic. Really appreciate you coming on and sharing your time and being so thorough with us and so precise. I think that's for me, that's been really useful. What about you, Phil?
It's been a fantastic show. I really love this show. Thank you. I will. It'll be we go on YouTube and brand YouTube, and then I'll upload this to podcast channels. It hits all the major podcasts. So yeah, great. If you love the show, connect with us on philandphil.com. If you'd like to make a donation to support our work and keep our website going and help us to continue to evolve and grow and bring on fabulous guests like Pricilla. This is we might want to bring you on again, I think, because this has been so wonderful. So, you know, and that's this whole thing is like why we started this show is like for, you know, to heal ourselves, and then, you know, as we heal ourselves, we start to heal each other. So, yeah, just great show. Thank you. Thank you for everybody joining us. Great. You've got a great following there, Pricilla. So it's great you had a lot of people jumping on who know you already. So that's great.
Lovely. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for both of you guys for inviting me onto the show. I've had a lovely time. And for anybody out there, these guys do a fabulous job. So, you know, do connect with their podcasts. And it's been really good fun. And yes, I wanted to get a little bit thorough to give some examples of what I actually meant, because some people don't know what EFT and colour really is all about. And so now hopefully people have got a better idea, more sort of practical application of how they can use this, all these different techniques to just shift out of how they're feeling and just start to feel better about themselves, you know, because that's really what's going to change their life. So I'll just say a big hello to everybody who knows me. Thank you for your comment, Wendy. That's much appreciated. And yeah, I've had an absolute ball. So thanks once again. I'm very grateful. Lovely
Thank
to
you,
be
Pricilla.
there.
Really, really grateful you can come on the show. Really appreciate that. Thank you. And
You're
thanks,
welcome.
Phil. Once again, thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate you all.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil.
And this has been another fabulous episode of the Phil and Phil Show. We wish you all a beautiful week, much filled with much love and abundance and joy and happiness. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Pricilla.